Representative Bennett, you're now recognized for 10 minutes in debating in favor of the measure.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, as I've been hearing this debate, it reminded me of a story that happened not too long ago. Myself and my seatmate, the representative here, were out in D.C., visited the Capitol. It got late in the evening. They were still doing some work there, and he says, let's go grab something to eat. So we started heading away from the Capitol. Of course, everybody in D.C. walks. Of course, we are both gun carriers, both police officers. We didn't have our weapons with us because they don't allow you to carry them in D.C. So we're walking down the street, and the farther we walked, we were talking, losing track of time and distance, and the street lights started to dim and then went out. So we're walking down the street, and it's dark, and all of a sudden, someone jumps from behind the corner and sticks a gun in my friend's ribs and says, give me all of your money. So he looks at me, kind of scared looking, and kind of looks at me like he wants me to do something, and I'm automatically thinking, well, maybe I can outrun him and I'll be okay. But I was a little scared too. So my friend says, the first thing that come to his mind, I guess, he says, you can't rob us, we're congressmen. So the guy shoves the gun in deeper and says, well, in that case, give me my money. You know, I made that story up, but I couldn't help myself thinking about that as we were going through these gun bills. No, I did not impugn you. So what gives us, who protects us? Who has the responsibility to protect you and me? Is it the government? Is it the police? Some will argue yes, some will argue no, but it's our God-given right, just like my representative friend that's running this bill had said already. It's our God-given right to protect ourselves from any means and from any threat. So you say, well, where do you get that from, Representative Bennett? Let me share a few things with you. Exodus 22:2 says, if a thief is caught breaking in and is struck so that he dies, there will be no blood guiltness on his account. Luke 22:36 says, Jesus is speaking and says, but now whoever has a money belt is to take it along, likewise also a bag. And whoever has no sword is to sell his coat and buy one. Ephesians 6:14 says, stand your ground, putting on the belt of truth and the body armor of God's righteousness. Luke 11:21, when a strong man fully armed guards his own house, his possessions are undisturbed. Why would that be in there? Because it's our God-given right to defend ourselves, and it's our responsibility to defend ourselves and our families. So how do we do that in this time and age? With all the advancements in technology and everything else, you surely can't bring a rock to a gunfight. And if you've ever been on the receiving end of someone trying to kill you, you would know and understand at that point in your life, you don't care what the law is or anything else. You only know that you need to defend yourself and your loved ones. And you can do that with a gun. You know, the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What part of shall not do we not understand? It's clear. It's very clear. It doesn't say may. It says shall. You know, I'm a concealed weapons instructor. You know, typically they charge you $60 to go through a class. I charge $30 for the ones that can pay it. I do it free for pastors and church members and women. I only charge $30 because I have to buy the targets and print off all the applications. Otherwise, I would do it for free. So the remark that somebody said, we're going to take money away from the instructors and from OSBI is ridiculous. What part of shall not be infringed in our U.S. Constitution don't we understand? It's ridiculous that you have to get a license, but it's even more ridiculous that you have to pay for a right that we already have. When we run open carry a few years ago, I got mocked, and I heard from members that opposed it, it's going to be the OK Corral. They're going to be shooting in the streets. There's going to be murder everywhere. You know how many incidences we've had since open carry's come into law? None. Zero. You know how much the violent crime rate has gone down in Oklahoma? Considerably. You think there might be some correlation there? I think there might. You know, we can't pass open carry because people won't come out of their homes if people have guns, right? Well, they came out in the 1800s, didn't they? Someone brought up about being a police officer. I've been a police officer. I've been on patrol. I still do it now. I'm telling you right now, me and most of the friends that I talk to that are police officers say we would much rather see a gun than not see a gun. It's not the one that you see you got to worry about, because you know what happens when you see the gun? You start formulating a plan and your mind automatically has a weapon. Is it going to be friend or foe? What do I need to do? You're formulating that in your mind. That's what saves police officers' lives. They don't just willy-nilly walk up to a car and then see a gun and say, oh my God, and start grabbing their gun. It don't work like that. They are highly trained to deal with situations like this. Why can't we have guns? We have the right under the Second Amendment to have guns. Open, concealed, it doesn't matter. That's our right. What gives this body, the government, the federal government, the state government, the right to infringe on our constitutional rights? None. Hopefully we'll hear a bill that does away with an absurd part of our state constitution that circumvents the right of the people. You know, look what's happened in gun-free zones across America and all over the world. France has the most strict gun laws in the entire world. And look what happened in France. A gunman come in and killed a whole bunch of people, brutally murdered them, and they didn't have a way to defend themselves. All they could do was run or scream or wait till the gunman come up to them and shot them point blank range. Try being in that predicament and see how you feel. Just because your government, state, federal, it doesn't matter, has taken away your constitutional right. Because that's what's happened. And his bill is trying to fix that. The Constitution shall never be construed to prevent the people of the United States who are peaceable citizens from keeping their own arms. The founding father, Richard Henry Lee of Virginia, said that in 1788. Why do you think our founding fathers put that in our Constitution? They put it there because their rights have been infringed upon. I've been in many, many foreign countries, third world countries. What do you think happens to those people that are there that don't have a right to defend themselves against their own government or the bad guys in the area? They're suppressed, oppressed, and depressed. Whoever has the biggest gun wins. No matter if a license is required or not, it will not stop the bad guys. It's going to keep the good guys from carrying. I hear this from the other side all the time. Oh, we're here for the poor people. Where's the rights for the poor people? Well, guess what? Having to buy a gun license is a progressive tax. By not supporting this, it's saying, hey, you may not be able to afford it, so you're not going to be able to carry. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. You're only preventing them from being able to carry. You know, if the government or this body takes away your Second Amendment rights, this body or the federal government, which the federal government has tried and tried and tried. We have the most anti-gun president in the United States. And I heard this a while ago too. Well, I own shotguns. I own my own gun. Well, good for you. So does Obama. And he was all for Second Amendment rights when he was running for re-election. But what's he doing now? He's still trying to take away our rights, your rights, and now this body is trying to do the same thing. And if you vote no, that's what you're telling your constituents. How many of you campaigned on, I'm Second Amendment, I'm pro-Second Amendment, I'm pro-gun? Well, now's your chance to prove it. The whole ridiculous notion of, well, if we make them get a license, we're safer, is just absolutely absurd. All you're doing is taking away your constituents' Second Amendment rights to defend themselves, protect themselves and their families. And by voting no on this, you're telling your constituents, I don't care about you because your government knows best. Well, guess what? You're here because they put you here. And if you don't do what they want you to do, I hope you don't come back. I urge you to vote in favor of this bill and give your constituents the protections they need to protect their Second Amendment rights to defend themselves.